Well, good afternoon, Rotarians and guests. You'll stand with me. I want to welcome you to the Thursday, September 3rd meeting of your Irving Las Colinas Rotary Club. Our invocation this morning will be led by the Reverend Bill Lamar. Buddy Brown will lead us in pledge. Neil and Sandra will lead us in singing America the Beautiful. And Lazaro will lead us in the introduction of our visiting Rotarians and guests. Bill?
Who could believe it that it would rain at the end of August and the 1st of September in Texas? It was 105 degrees last week and absolutely glorious today. We have much to be thankful for. Let us go to God in prayer. Eternal God, we give you thanks for the blessings of this beautiful, cool, damp day, for the rain that has fallen upon us, that has enriched the soil as it has soothed our souls. We give you thanks for this club and its work in our community. We give you thanks for the food that has been prepared for us. We ask your Spirit to be upon us, to bless us and our club in our great activity of this next week with our flags over Irving for 4th of July and our Labor Day in September 11th. Bless our efforts, oh God. Bless this food. Keep us this day in your peace. In the name of the Christ, amen.
One nation, under God, indivisible, justice for all.
Oh, beautiful voices, wings of rain, oh, purple mountains majesty, above all fruited plain. America, God shed his grace on thee, and crowned thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
Well done, Neil and Sandra. Welcome, everyone. Well, before Lazaro introduces our visiting Rotarians and guests, I've got another little neat gadget up here. We've been having trouble with our Zoom people hearing us online, and so I got a new microphone, but I brought the cord to charge it, not the cord to plug it into the phone. So just want you to know that I got half of the assignment right, and so hopefully next week we'll have a microphone that'll plug into the phone so those of you on Zoom can hear better. But I am wearing my fancy earring today. Our speaker is going to wear it, so those of you on Zoom will be able to hear us. Well, Lazaro, come up and introduce our visiting Rotarians and guests. We have at least one online there and a couple in the room. So.
We would like to. Bob Van Dyke, welcome to the Rotary Club virtually, and I think we also have another visitor that are you going to introduce him? Okay, so he's going to be introduced, Mr. Travis Waddell, but thank you for visiting virtually and in person.
And let's give all of our visiting Rotarians and guests a warm welcome. Well, just want to remind everybody that tomorrow is September 4th, and this year that is the day that flags go out. I'm sure that if you're involved with any type of distribution, Kathy Howard's already gotten you an update there, but I know that Richard Raymond and I will be doing Millennium Fountain, and my son and I will be doing the hospital and MacArthur area, but how many flags do we have that are going to be going out, Kathy? Do you have a number on that? I'm putting her on the spot here. All right. Well, the number last week was almost 1,300, I think, flags that'll be going out. They're going to stay out for 10 days. So we're going to leave them out through 9/11. We'll pick them up on September 14th. So should really make the city and the neighborhoods look great during this time. Well, this is the time of year that the schools usually bring us a series of programs. And so I'd asked Crystal and Superintendent Magda Hernandez to help us coordinate those programs. You got to hear from the coaches last week and the superintendent the week before that. And today we have a special program about the Irving Signature Studies program, I think. Is that correct? So Nicole is going to come up and introduce our program. So Nicole Manziel with the Irving ISD. Let me move mine so you can put yours there. Thank you, sir. And let me trade off one little piece of equipment. Can you stick that on Zoom and hand it off to Travis?
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Today, our guest speaker is Travis Waddell. Travis is our Director of Career and Technical Education. He comes to us actually from the Region 10 Education Service Center, where he served as the CTE Director for 6 years. Travis has served as a teacher, vice principal, and principal in school districts such as Dallas ISD, Palestine ISD, and the Texas Juvenile Justice Department. Prior to becoming an educator, Travis served as a staff sergeant in the United States Army. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Mr. Travis Waddell.
So much. Are they watching the slideshow on there? Or I'll tell you what, we'll start with Irving ISD 2019-20. Are you seeing that one? Certification overview.
Here as well. So you can see.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Yes. Right there. And then if you like, I'll just do this on knife hand whenever you, when I need you to change. So thank you so much for having me today, and welcome everyone that's out there in internet land. I'm so glad you're with us. So we're going to go ahead and start off with some of the great stuff that we're doing at Irving ISD from Signature Studies, also known as Career and Technical Education. In the past, just to elaborate on that a little bit, when we were younger, when I was in school in the 80s, and some of you all I see at that table there were in school in the 80s as well, I did what they call vocational classes, where we did automotive repair and things like that. Well, we've changed the name of that to be CTE, and we call it Signature Studies. So CTE is Career and Technical Education. And Signature Studies stand for the fact that when a student in Irving ISD decides to join one of those programs, they're placing their signature on it. And last year for certifications, and these were different certifications in Microsoft or AS for mechanics or such things as Safe Serve for food and things of that nature. We had, out of our 9,646 high school students, we had 8,343 who were enrolled in career and technical education classes. 894 of those students took the certification tests, an array of tests, and 692 earned a certification. So if you look down there at the bottom of that, 9.2% of our high school students took at least one certification exam. I've got to change. So we're going to start off with Irving ISD. Irving High School. I want to give you guys an overview, and ladies and gentlemen, I want to give you an overview of Irving High School. We have arts and communications. If you notice, that's the yellow part of the pie. Green is transportation. And that's just a visual representation of the different programs our students have signed up for. This is the Interlink Emerging and Evolving Occupations. We just recently updated the list. And what that is information about careers that are going to be evolving here in the local area. And that was handed to us by North Texas Interlink through a lady named Candy Slocum. And what we've done is we've actually looked at the jobs and redid our list for 20 through 24 because of the impact of COVID-19. And what we're seeing is what is now being detailed as to the emerging or the continuing to emerge careers that are going to be available. Two of the ones I want to point out here, or three, if you look at it, we have biomedical technicians, cybersecurity analysts, and forensic science technicians. We have students at Irving ISD right now that are taking those classes. So if you think back to when you were in high school and some of the coursework you took, now our kids are doing forensic studies. Our students are doing cybersecurity so they can understand how to secure internet connections and things of that nature. And also biomedical technicians as they study biomedical science. So for Irving High School, we have an array of programs. So we have drone, we have the School of Aviation, right? And over in the School of Aviation, we have drone engineering, we have aviation, and we have aviation technology. We also have the School of Biomedical Science, which is where students are learning pharmacy technology and also biomedical science. Now, if you look over to the right of this slide, there's a little detail on the feeder middle schools. So we have Austin and De Zavala middle schools. We have iFly Aviation, where we're starting to work with our middle school kids to prepare them to enter into aviation career field, or at least give them a taste of that, along with digital product innovations, immersive media, ready to teach. One of the big programs that we're pushing right now around for our students are having our students that live here in Irving become our future teachers and return to teach our students so that we are growing our own folks. Also, I see people taking pictures. Do not hesitate to reach out. If you want a copy of this slideshow, I'll make sure at the end you see my email, and I will gladly share this slideshow with you. De Zavala, they have Science Discovery Lab, and then the coders. And I want to take a minute to talk about coders. Right now, we're actually implementing coding to our middle school students so they can code computers, okay? I say code computers, that sounds really, if you're a coder, I just said something wrong because I said it entirely wrong. We're teaching our students to code. If you're familiar with it, a lot of us, we probably came up in the 70s and the 80s when I was younger and started coding. We coded with Fortran, which was the base language for computers back in that day. And now it's HTML, which is the online languages, and there's a whole host of others. And what we've done is we've partnered with industry professionals such as Texas Instruments, and they've told us what we need to do to prepare our students for that next level in those careers. So here's a little taste of what our biomedical science students are doing. They take a Principles of Biomedical Science class. They take a Biotechnology 1 and a Biotechnology 2. We throw in some anatomy and physiology, along with World Health Research, and some dual credit. And then the industry certification that we're looking for them to come out with is a phlebotomy certification. So if you've ever had somebody draw your blood, you know how important that is. Or if you ever did anything in the military, I remember one time we were practicing giving each other IVs, and the gentleman giving me an IV could not find a vein, and he must have poked me in the arm about 7 times. So I'm very happy for anybody who goes and becomes a trained phlebotomist. And we also have our aviation and drone engineering program. So those students who are going to be enrolled in that, and currently are, they start off with an introduction to aerospace, followed by introduction to air tech, along with ground school and flight 2, along with air tech and 1 and 2. So they'll actually have hands-on experience in the aviation community. And then drones. And I don't know if any of y'all have been told about this. You might have, so I don't know your knowledge base, and forgive me for that. But right now, Uber has been in the works, and you've probably heard of Uber, the little taxi replacement for Texas. They actually have been in the works with Ross Perot Foundations and some other select businesses to start to bring drone taxis to the Dallas area. So imagine going to work at 120 miles an hour at 1,000 feet above. Some people might not be very fond of that. I think it would sound rather fun. So maybe not. Irving High School also has a graphic design program. So we have graphic design 1 and graphic design 2. If you notice here in this picture, the young man's making graphics. And those are really important because a lot of times I noticed right here, you all have a lot of graphics right behind me. And we want our students to be able to continue to make such things as that. And also enter industry and become entrepreneurs. And one of the programs we have that I'm very fond of at all 3 of our comprehensive high schools, we'll start with Irving High School. Irving High School has the JRTC program, the Junior ROTC, and that is the Reserve Officer Training Corps. That is led by none other than Lieutenant Colonel Michael Curtin. And that is something that I take great pride in, is our future leaders of America who will become military members or just learn the basics of what leadership is through the military process. So if you wonder what the student outcome there is, I thought about that one and I thought, you know what? Our student outcome is to provide students with skills to enlist in the United States military or attend college on an ROTC scholarship. And we assist those students in future readiness by providing purpose, motivation, and direction through our junior ROTC program. I'm going to skip ahead over to the Cardinals here of MacArthur High School. And if you notice, we have a graphic once again. We have quite a few students that are enrolled in arts and communication, transportation, and STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And then if you look at the bottom, there's our blue of education and training. So we do have quite a few of our students who have elected to enroll in education, because we do want them, once again, we are trying to make sure that we have our students growing and becoming business professionals and educational professionals and things of that nature, and staying right here in good old Irving so we can maintain, you know, that greatness that we've already seen. So signature programs are in School of Business and Entrepreneurship. So we deal with wealth management, entrepreneurship, sales management, real estate marketing. And then we also have our School of Architecture, Construction, Engineering, where we have civil engineering, electrical, and construction. And it looks like it cut off my construction at the bottom, but we do have construction classes. On this particular, for this high school, our feeder programs coming out from the middle school the middle schools are going to be Travis Middle School, Houston, and Crockett. Our students that are in those schools are going to be taking coding classes. They are going to be taking classes for high school credit called Dollars and Cents, Fashion and Marketing. One of the reasons we wanted to see dollars and cents at that level is so we could start to train students on managing their wealth and their finances at a very early age. Most of you I'm speaking to probably already know this. We were just talking about it at the table a few minutes ago. People don't understand their credit. So if you carry more than 30% debt for the overall credit you have, it can start to deter your credit score. Our young people coming out of school at times don't know this. One of the reasons I'll also mention that we have $1.7 trillion as a nation in student loan debt, and we need to figure out a way to stop that as well. But we're doing that here in Irving ISD by educating our students and preparing them for life after high school and what that could look like, either straight into career and into industry, or going to achieve or earn a college degree that leads straight into industry and career. And we're working hard on that one, I promise you. So MacArthur High School, here's some of the emerging careers that was taken from the North Texas Center there. And what it is, if you notice, there's electricians and welders. We're in the infancy of our current welding program. I met with our, believe it or not, Charlotte. We have a female welding instructor, and she is phenomenal. And that's not the only one. I've met several female welding instructors, and they are phenomenal welders. So it's not gender specific anymore. So women and men can both weld, right? But anyway, we are growing our welding program. Right now, I am trying to work with Holt Cat. I've reached out, and they are excited to talk to us about working with Holt Cat to have our kids get on-the-job experience in their frame and welding shops, like the one down here on the corner of 183 and Loop 12, across from the old Dallas Cowboys Stadium area. So we're looking at that. And then with electricians, I was just speaking with a gentleman yesterday, and I'll have more information later on that. But we're also working to make sure we're having job shadowing and also what we call OJT, on-the-job training, right? We want our kids doing career practicums. So practicums is best described as OJT, on-the-job training. And we want our kids leaving school early in the day, if they're leaving, to go into the job market, to learn electrical skills or to learn skills in welding and things of that nature at the industry level. So with MacArthur, we also have the School of Business and Entrepreneurship. Did you know that the average entrepreneur in the state of Texas makes somewhere between $160,000 and $175,000 a year? There's nothing wrong with starting your own business. The problem is some people are afraid to do such. And we want to make sure our kids are not restrained or constrained by that fear, which is why we have this particular program. We have hospital administration, administrative management, real estate and marketing, sales management, entrepreneur and wealth management, specifically guided on this campus, guided towards insurance. Some of the certifications our students can earn are Microsoft Office, Google Analytics, insurance, and we're wanting them in Google Suite, and we're really wanting them to work with analytical data. We want to show them how data drives businesses and how data drives wealth. So, and we also have our education and training. This is what we're really excited about. Like I said, we want to maintain that wealth within our school district. you probably are not going to be surprised that when we get down and start talking about automotive programs to kind of go on this, several of my current teachers are actual Irving graduates who went out into industry and then came back to teach. And I'll go more into that when we get down into our programs. But we're really excited about keeping our Irving kids around and becoming future tax-paying citizens that love this place and want to stay here and make it better. Not that it's not great already. We have the School of Architecture, Construction, and Civil Engineering. Right now, just to give you an example, there are 2 to 3 to 1 jobs for people available. I was speaking with friends of mine who are in construction that work in pavement and work in general construction. And they said that for every 3 jobs that they have available, 1 person's there to fill it. We're doing our best to train our students and get them ready to fill those jobs. And if you notice, we have some certifications such as OSHA 30, because we want them to be safe on the job. AWS, that is American Welding Society. There's 3 different types of welding certifications students can actually seek out. One of the ones that we're looking at right now is AWS, and that is structural. So when you look at building buildings and highways, that's going to be AWS, and that's what we're training them on. And then, what time do we have? I want to make sure I do a time check. 12:40. Okay, I always make sure I'm on pace because I don't have my phone in front of me to see my time, and I don't have my watch. I left my timepiece at the house this morning, so I feel kind of like my wrist is bare here. It's kind of weird. But then once again, back to the ROTC at MacArthur High School, led by Lieutenant Colonel Vincent Freeman, who I found out recently served as the Fire Direction Control Officer for the 2nd Armored Cavalry Regiment during Desert Storm. So him and I were kind of in some of the same spots over in Europe and Germany. And they have a phenomenal ROTC program that's Army. So the one we have over at Irving High School is Marine, and the one we have at MacArthur High School is Army. And we're really proud of that one as well. And we have the same exact outcome for students. We want to make sure that we're assisting them in future readiness by providing purpose, motivation, and direction. So now on to the Nimitz Vikings, right? We're going to talk about Nimitz High School. So if you notice, we have a rather large agricultural selection there because we have students that have selected to be enrolled in agriculture. Right now, we're working with some partnerships with Texas A&M for our agricultural department. And then we also have a strong business management administration and law and public safety at this particular school. So we want to embrace our local law enforcement and make sure our students are working with them to take those positions as we grow our students to fill the ranks of the military, the agriculture, and our police forces. So here are our signature programs there. We have environmental engineering, and then we have the agricultural sciences, and that's veterinary science, agribusiness, and wildlife, and environmental conservation. And if you notice over on this other side, we have the middle schools. I always want to touch on those. We have Bowie, Lamar, and Johnson. And if you notice down in Johnson, we actually have a horticulture program that helps feed students into the agriculture program at Nimitz. We also have that dollars and cents class available and the fashion marketing. So we just want to make sure that we're trying to have some well-rounded students. And we kind of think of preparing a junior high school student for high school programs like we would preparing someone to buy a new car. Sometimes it's more about what you know, what you don't want in a car than what you do want in the car, so you can kind of eliminate what you're not going to buy. Because if you need to go somewhere that's 4x4, then there's no sense in looking at 2-wheel drive pickup trucks, right? So targeted occupations, if you notice, we've highlighted several: environmental engineering technicians, solar technicians, and then also wind turbine. So those are some jobs that are coming, that are right now on the forefront that we're preparing students to take as well. So then here with Nimitz, we have some other things we want to talk about. I want to look at the salaries. So we pulled this one just so we could talk about salaries for a second. As we prepare our students for, obviously a lot of people are familiar with civil engineering, electrical engineering, industrial. They're not so familiar with mechatronics, that 4th one. And I just want to take a moment to tell you about it. We're currently aligned with DCCD, which is the Dallas local colleges. And there are several colleges that offer that specific degree in mechatronics. Mechatronics is a 2-year degree. And it is a 2-year degree that Texas Instruments is so interested in right now that they'll start brand new students off with a 2-year degree, 60 college credit hours at $60,000 to $70,000 a year. And we want our kids to have a piece of that pie. We want our students that are coming out of Irving to have a piece of that pie so that they can make great livable wages, buy homes here in the area, and settle down, right? So then there's the agricultural side of that. If you notice in the background of this picture, we have a greenhouse, and it is a wonderful greenhouse. I was in there just the other day, And I cannot wait to see what happens this winter as our kids get in, once we've kind of gotten past this COVID-19 dilemma we're dealing with, which, we want to make sure people are taken care of on that. But at the same time, I can't wait to get our kids back on campus so they can get their hands in the dirt and start growing some stuff. And I'm really hoping they grow tomatoes, because I'm a huge fan of tomatoes. So we'll see. It's hard to find good tomatoes in January in Texas, right? So moving forward, here we go. There we go. We have the Nimitz High School Junior ROTC Navy. So this is our Navy program. If you notice, we have an Army, we have a Marine, and we have a Navy ROTC program in our district. The only ones we're missing are the Air Force and the Coast Guard. And I haven't figured that one out yet, but when I do, I'll let you know, right? So that is led by Lieutenant Trevor Smalls. And they placed this year in state, and we'll make sure if you go to our website, you can see that in drill. And they are a phenomenal drill program. And once again, I'll go back to that thing that we're doing. We're providing for future readiness by providing with purpose, motivation, and direction. Because we've got these wonderful non-commissioned officers led by our officers of the junior ROTC, and our students are phenomenal in those programs. And we'll make sure we get more out on Twitter and more out to you all, so we can feed that information to you and see what our students are doing. Next is Singley Academy. Singley Academy was named among the nation's best high schools, and it is a wonderful place to visit if you ever get a chance. If you notice, it's very evenly spaced over on our chart: law and public safety, information technology, hospitality and tourism. Our culinary arts lab over there is phenomenal. And it's probably one of the best places for me to visit, because I am a foodie. I love food. So me and food, I've never met a meal I didn't like. I might have been trained on the military, but I've never met a meal I didn't like, right? So our signature programs are the School of Culinary Arts, the School of Health Science, the School of Law and Public Service, and the School of Innovative Technologies. So we are also a designated T-STEM school. Now, what that stands for is the Texas Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. And so we provide additional professional development, instruction, and technology, so that our students are at the cusp of getting into the next level when they go to colleges, and whether that be a certificate that's not technically a college degree, a level 1 or level 2 certification, or they're getting a 2-year degree or a 4-year degree. We want them to be prepared when they leave Irving ISD to not have to take any additional coursework that would prepare them, but to step right into those programs, get those degrees, and enter the workforce. So here's some information. We actually have a nursing dual credit program. So the outcome on this one is that our students earn 16 credit hours for college that apply to their nursing programs when they depart. Because it's very difficult for a student in high school to earn a bachelor's degree, obviously. But what we do with this program is set them up so they are ready to be successful moving into the nursing field. And right now, 47 out of our 50 states are healthcare-based economies. In other words, one of the main precursors for their economy are healthcare and health sciences. The only 3 states that we have currently in the union that are not is Nevada, Hawaii, and Alaska. They're tourism-based states. And but the rest are highly active in healthcare and health sciences. So if you notice, our students are taking the Principles of Health Science and Medical Terminology. That Principles of Health Science is a dual credit class. The Medical Terminology is a dual credit class. They're taking the Health Science Theory dual credit along with Anatomy and Physiology, followed by a Medical Microbiology dual credit and a Practicum in Pathophysiology that's also dual credit. So like I said, once they come out, we're looking for that certification for the NHA Patient Care Technician, so they can actually go into the medical field and work while they're in college. So we're trying to do some great things, and these kids are phenomenal. And if you ever get a chance to visit with them, I encourage you to do such. So we also have our Law Enforcement Academy, and that is very well vested with the Irving Police Department, who we love. And they have a great hands-on approach. And I can't say enough about our Chief of Police, Jeff Spivey. He is phenomenal. And he has he has his hand on this program. He has touched it. He is constantly involved in it. And we also have dual credit to where students come out with 16 college credit hours towards their law enforcement processes. We do encourage them to consider joining in the military as well, because of the military police, shore police. You know, if you're in the Navy, it was shore police. If you're in the Army, it's military police, things of that nature, because we want kids to be enrolled and involved in law enforcement in any aspect that they deem appropriate for their future. We have cybersecurity. And anybody who's ever banked online, you want security, right? Because I know my bank is online, and I want to make sure the Bank of America is not letting my information out to anybody else. I don't have a whole lot of money, but I'm really proud of the little bit of money I do have. And cybersecurity is one of those ways our financial institutions stay safe, and we want to make sure we stay that way. So we're preparing kids to help with the future with cybersecurity. Culinary arts. I cannot tell you how tasty a class this is. Our kids, if you ever get a chance to visit our culinary arts, it looks like a mad kitchen from one of those movies like one of those TV shows like Hell's Kitchen. That's the TV show that would probably be. Ours isn't quite as mean-spirited, and our instructor's a lot nicer. But our kids are doing a lot of the same things, just at a little slower pace, and they're making some really great food. And they're also currently we have partnerships with outside entities where our kids go and get hands-on experience and on-the-job training. Then they get hired by a lot of these entities and partnerships as we move forward. One of the certifications we look for them is ServSafe Manager, so they understand how to properly manage a kitchen. And then we have the Cardwell Center. The Cardwell sometimes is overlooked because it's out and about and not one of our comprehensive campuses, but it's a very important campus. It's wonderful, and it's also kind of aligned, and I kind of like to push them together. The Ratteree, our Ratteree Career Center, and our Cardwell Center kind of go hand in hand because Principal Leslie Kelly is the person who oversees both of those programs. We have the School of Workforce Readiness. We have the School of Cosmetology, and we have the School of Automotive Technologies. Now, if you notice some of the other coursework that they can do, and can I get a time check one more time? 12:47. Okay, we're on time. We're doing good. I just want to make sure I don't run out of time, and because at 1 o'clock everybody's leaving. I get it. And I want to leave some time for question and answer. So we have business management, marketing, entrepreneurship, cosmetology, and diesel technologies. This program serves to prepare our kids to immediately enter the workforce with these particular ones, especially things like our cosmetology program. Those kids are coming out with TDLR, that's the Texas Department of Licensing and Registration, licenses to cut hair. If you notice, we have a large amount of law and public safety and business and management and marketing in this particular, on this campus as well for selections from students. And we'll jump right in here. So if you're at Cardwell, one of the programs we offer is the program that leads to entrepreneurship. And that is business information management, mobile app development, entrepreneurship, and in Career Prep 1. Now, Career Prep 1 is where our students spend about a day, not a day, but one class period on the campus and up to 2 class periods off campus and at a job site. So it could be something like McDonald's, it could be AutoZone or Walmart. And what that career preparation class is doing is allowing our students to go out and get high school credits while they're performing jobs and earning funds and paying taxes. So they have to pay their taxes. A lot of times when they get that first job, they wonder what that FICA is. They're like, who's FICA and why are they taking my money? So we have to explain to them how that works and why those taxes are going where they are and why we want our citizens to be good tax-paying citizens. And career prep is great for doing that. It also teaches customer service. It teaches people to be on time. One of the things they didn't teach me at Chick-fil-A when I was in high school that I learned really quickly in the Army was 5 minutes early is 5 minutes late. So we try to teach our kids to be on time, right? And that's part of the career preparation process is being timely and showing up to work and things of that nature. We do offer certifications to these students in Microsoft Office certifications, and then what we call Ask Fundamental in Business Concepts and Entrepreneur Management. This is the Ratteree. You might be familiar with the James A. Ratteree Career Development Center. It's housed at a different physical location, but it falls under the same administrative body for as far as the building principal goes, and that's Ms. Kelly. So we have cosmetology, and this is where our students, they take business information management because we want them to be familiar with the business information management tools such as billing and computer science, using a computer in the workplace. Then we have Cosmetology Foundation, Cosmetology 1 and Cosmetology 2, which allows for us to help them earn, and we pay for it, a TDLR license where they can go to work as a cosmetologist. Next, we have the automotive program at the Ratteree Center. I was just down there this morning speaking with both our automotive teachers, and that would be Cisco and Manny. They are former graduates of the Irving ISD system. They went out in industry and now they're back to teach our students. We are currently working on partnerships, and were on the phone yesterday with the folks at ASE as we become certified once again to offer those ASE certifications and work with the local dealerships to place our students directly from the James A. Ratteree Center into the dealerships. So they're going direct into industry, or they can choose at that point to go into, they can choose to go to college to a 2-year program if they would like for automobile, or they can choose to go into the dealerships. Now we're working on those. We haven't gotten those set yet, and we'll keep you abreast of what's going on with those. Diesel technology. We offer Diesel Tech 1, Diesel Tech 2, and practicums in transportation. And right now we're working to develop local partnerships. So if you know anybody, don't hesitate to pull me off to the side today and say, hey, Travis, I know somebody that does diesel here in the Irving area that I could hook you up with that could use some of your students, and then provide them with jobs as we provide them with technicians in the future. Because we want to be providing our local folks with that job that, you know, those kids that are coming out trained to what they need in their shops so that we can further that process. And then we have collision repair, auto body. And when it rains in Dallas, you're probably, I would dare say about 100 people a day need an auto body technician if it rains in the Dallas area. Because if you ever tried to drive through Dallas in the morning on the way to work, you're probably going to run into a car accident. And we always hope that they're well, but we all want to make sure we are able to fix cars. And what we're doing right now is we're designing a program where we're having people come in. We've been partnering with some of our local auto body technician folks, and we're having them come in. And the big deal about our automotive industries, when you talk about automotive repair, diesel repair, and body repair, is we want the industry to come in and say, this is what your school's doing right. This is what your school's doing wrong. This is what we need for you to enter kids into our workplace. So we're wanting to be industry driven with our partnerships. So we're reaching out to local community members, business owners, to help drive our programs to set our kids up for success to feed into their businesses. So these are the targeted occupations. And if you notice, they always have a low and a high. And I'll go ahead and explain. Anytime you're looking at targeted occupations, you see a low and a high. They have to take every job out there that's available. So if you have somebody who runs a really small body shop and they don't pay a lot, the state takes that into consideration along with somebody like Caliber Collision, who would pay their technicians more, and they find that medium income. So that's why you'll see a high and a low income on these charts. And then there's my Diesel Tech program. I didn't realize that it fell behind my chart. So we have Diesel Tech 1 and Diesel Technology Advanced, and we are working right now. We do have a partnership with a trucking company just south of here, but we're working to get somebody in the actual Irving area. So once again, if you know that you can put me in touch with somebody, I would gladly accept that, and I appreciate anything you can provide me with. And then here's one, I'm going to end, this is one of my last slides right here. This is the Irving ISD 6th grade upgrade. We are in the middle of right now implementing. It's take a little while to do it because nothing happens overnight, but we're in the middle of implementing, bringing these robots that are designed by Texas Instruments specifically to help kids learn how to code, using the calculators that the kids are actually going to use later to test with when they do ACT or SAT testing for college. But these calculators program a hub and also allow them to program a little robot. So we're going to have our 6th graders working on programming as well. So we're trying to start as early as 6th grade to get our kids hands on technology so that they can get ready for industry. And then this is my wonderful team. So I couldn't have done it without them. If you notice, I've got Miosha, Zach, and Joe. They helped me put together this, if not all of this slideshow. They did a phenomenal job. And then my secretary, Teresa, always has my my 6 because she's awesome. And then we have a new clerk, Adriana Lagaretta, and she is excellent as well. So that's my team. And now I can open it up for any questions. Yes, sir. Cisco, yes. We are working on, we don't teach specifically to Cisco right now. We are working on getting the Cisco certifications because they're on the state's plan. So yes, we are working towards Cisco certifications. And I would love to hear, and I could really use your advice. So if you're willing to talk to me about that, please get me your information. Yes, sir. Absolutely. I would love to hear more about that.
Other questions?
Okay. The question was, does Irving ISD plan to have any electrical vehicle technology classes? Is that what I'm hearing? I was just having a discussion with one of our engineering teachers the other day about creating a solar-powered vehicle team between both our automotive students and our engineering. So we're in the talks, but we haven't moved forward on that yet. And when we do, you'll know. So yes, we're working on that right now. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, one thing that's evident is that Irving ISD is doing an amazing job of getting our students ready for the job market, for college and career. So we thank Superintendent Hernandez for coordinating, and Nicole, thank you for coming out and being here today as well. We're almost at 1 o'clock, so if you'll stand with me. I believe John Van Buren. John, are you doing the four-way test? John Van Buren is leading in the four-way test. So is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Well, special thank you to all of our Rotarians and guests that joined us on Zoom, for all of our visitors.